Bortlen Henry?
Yes, sir, he's present.
That you in the back of the
Status conference.
Come on up.
And I don't know, I guess you're already trial coded right now. We're set for October 3rd for trial.
You had a motion pending as well?
Yes, Judge. At the court, when we were here the last time, you let him go to church and stuff, you said about working, you would be subject to seeing the schedule. We filed a schedule.
Is it too late for Cortland to plea?
No, I don't think it's too late. It's never too late. I've had individuals been offered pleas but turned them down in the middle of trial. I've had people offered pleas before a verdict came back. So it just depends on the case, depends on the prosecutor, depends on the actual charges. So no, it's never too late for that. He could take a plea in the middle of his case. I don't think that would happen. If he was going to take a plea, if there was going to be a deal, it would be in the middle of Melly's case.
YNW Bortlen has ruined Melly's chances at being released on bond. It begins at Melly's bond hearing yesterday, as the hearing begins with YNW Juvie's mother telling the judge why YNW Melly should not receive a bond out of jail until his retrial is over.
Ms. Phillips, you are the mother of Christopher Thomas?
Yes, ma'am.
And what are your thoughts or opinion on Jamel Demons receiving a bond in the of your son?
I don't think he should receive a bond, but I do know that he's innocent until proven guilty, but he's done some serious accusations against him. So, and I understand he has money and don't want anything, nothing to happen to me or my family. So I don't think that he should be granted a bond at all.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips.
Look,
It's hard to hear what she stated, but she said, and I quote, "I do not think he should receive a bond. I do know that he is innocent until proven guilty. However, there are serious accusations against him. He has money. I do not want anything to happen to me or my family. I do not think he should receive a bond at all." To which YNW Melly's lawyers would then object what she said in court.
I have, again, I would object to the court even considering the statements of people that even the state has no idea where they are. We have, I brought up several times prior to the trial, during the trial. We have attempted to subpoena those people for deposition numerous times, most of them. And there's a material witness bond as we speak on Mariah Hamilton. They don't know where she is.
As he would make the point of, if YNW Melly does get released, even if he has all of the money accessible to him, there is no need for YNW Melly to want revenge against any witnesses in this court case, not to mention that Melly has no idea where any of these people even are or where they even live. Now, this is a very weak objection, as it even made YNW Melly very nervous. As the court hearing was paused, Melly's lawyer then goes over to Melly, asking him if he's sure he has zero idea where witnesses live, and he also wants YNW Melly to tell him the reasons he should be on house arrest.
Can you differentiate between facts? But I'm using her
YNW Melly's lawyer would then tell the judge that his plans for house arrest would be that he wears an ankle monitor, as well as 24/7 supervision the entire time. He just wants to go home near family and make more music. Sadly, even with those requests, YNW Melly would still be denied bail at this time, leaving him visibly upset inside of the courtroom until his mother told him to smile.
I'll do the one for the meetings. We gotta put the
Just share it back and forth, make sure both sides look at it. Whatever we have that we've done,
Before you leave. Wait, we need him for 1 second. It was brought to my attention.
After the court hearing, sources would then reveal that YNW Melly was going to be denied bail either way, and it's all due to YNW Bortlen. The state is currently waiting for Bortlen to make his decision on accepting a plea deal or not, as YNW Bortlen did something very strange when Melly's mistrial was granted. YNW Bortlen tweets a mysterious message on the same day Melly's mistrial was declared. Mind games don't work on people like me, alongside a handshake emoji as if he's accepting a deal, as many believe that YNW Bortlen is not happy with what YNW Melly's lawyers were doing during his entire trial, where Melly's own lawyers were hinting towards Bortlen being the guilty one, and now Bortlen is subtweeting the mind games phrase, basically confronting YNW Melly for what his lawyers did. As even 15 minutes into day 1 of Melly's trial, Melly's lawyers threw everything onto Bortlen, sharing,
Demon's lies, those were his lies. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with 2 bodies, car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket, not Cortland Henry. There were 3 phones.
As Melly's own lawyer revealed that it was Bortlen that was lying to the feds, and that he was the one with powder residue on his hands, and that he was also the last one with juvie and sack chaser on that day, even bringing up a forensic scientist that covered the passings just to go into further detail about YNW Bortlen having the powder residue.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of residue and 2 two-component particles, and the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of residue and 1 two-component particle.
Okay. And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was residue present on the hands.
As YNW Melly's team continued making Bortlen look guilty, the question is, will Bortlen go to prison for life for YNW Melly even though he didn't even commit the crime? To get the answer of that question, we then need to dive deep into Bortlen's interrogation on the night of the crime in 2018, as YNW Bortlen explains what happened when the 4 YNW members were leaving the recording studio on the night of Juvie and Sack Chaser's passing, as YNW Bortlen reveals that after hopping into their vehicle, they began driving home until this happened.
Okay, tell me what happened.
Man, I was playing music, getting off the exit. I was already getting sleepy, almost home, you know what I'm saying? And like, just out of nowhere, like, I just heard, you know what I'm saying? So, and I ducked down, you know what I'm saying, in the car, and I almost crashed the car.
Let me back you up a few minutes. Where were you coming from?
I was coming from the studio, from Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale studio. Which way did you take?
I took I-75, 595 to
75.
Expressway. Yeah.
Then you took 75 south?
As it is very clear to law enforcement that YNW Bortlen's story is not adding up to anything. Bortlen is seen trying to stay as confident as he can about his story, and even adding extra little things to try to make it seem realistic. However, law enforcement would just catch him in a lie.
Here's the hard part where we're having a hard time to understand, is that we shut down that entire area, and we had officers shoulder to shoulder walk it out. They didn't find as much as 1 shell casing. They didn't find 1 piece of glass. Nothing. Nothing to what you said adds up. And it's hard.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, that's the class.
I mean, for whatever reason, your 2 friends, are these your good friends?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These my like,
these your 2, I'm assuming close friends.
Yeah, we got.
And you're doing them an in-service by not telling us the truth.
I'm telling you the truth, sir. I don't like. How? What do you want?
Well, how do you make shell casings disappear?
I don't know. How can I tell you about a shell case?
As YNW Bortlen is not budging from his original story, sticking to the script for the streets, meaning you never snitch and you never work with the feds. He was not giving up any information on YNW Melly. This would just make law enforcement officers very annoyed by Bortlen. Then the officer would go on and ask this.
Let's talk about why. Are you having issues with anyone?
I mean, we are upcoming artists and stuff, so people like, you know, when you like start doing better than people, they start hating and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
So you had some jealousy issues.
Yeah, it's like jealousy issues. But goddamn, I haven't really been on there. But like he like my friend that's way now, God bless. He was telling me like about. He always telling me about how people just like today. He was telling me some folks from up our way.
What's up your way?
Like Vero
Beach?
Beach. Like that's where I used to stay. You know what I'm saying? So I grew up there. So that's our hometown. You know what I'm
So
saying?
what did your friend say about from Vero Beach? What was he saying to you?
He was saying basically just like they go on like Instagram, Facebook, like sneak this.
The officers now understand the YNW group is a music label with artists in the area, making it seem as if there is a chance what Bortlen is saying is true. However, from here, the interrogation would go completely south, as YNW Bortlen began getting angry at these officers because they weren't fully believing his story about the crime.
I told y'all the story, and that's it, bro. I don't even want to talk about it no more. Like, cause I told y'all. Like, I don't know.
Okay, just so you know, all right, because you're saying, well, I don't want to talk anymore. There's going to be a lot more questions. There's, you know, and we're not trying to piss you off. The thing is, we don't know your friends.
Yeah.
So the reason we have to ask all these questions, because the more we know about your friends, your lifestyle, your friend's lifestyle, your friends, his friends, and the circumstances surrounding today, the more, you know, the easier it's going to be for us to try and solve this.
It's very common when the criminal in the interrogation hits this certain point during the interview, refusing to talk and not even wanting to discuss further. It's then the officer's job to reset the playing field. The goal is to continue asking questions, hoping either the criminal will mix up his story and then share different details of what he originally said, or accidentally go on and say too much. The officer resets the conversation. The police officer would then want details of the in-the-moment actions made during the drive-by, such as how was YNW Bortlen driving, did he crash into anything, etc.
And I'm driving, ducking for my life, trying to make sure I don't get hit. And you telling me you telling me about shit. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. I'm driving. I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. You know what I'm saying? What I'm gonna be worried about? You know what I'm saying?
I know it's not for you to worry about.
Shit crazy, bro.
But if you tell me it happened there's got to be some evidence there. There's going to be broken glass, just like there's broken glass over here when you guys open the doors and stuff like that. Okay, there's going to be broken glass over there when the windows got out. There's going to be casings from the people at your car. Okay, there's going to be evidence over there. Okay, right now there's nothing. I kind of think I know what happened because I got information.
As with time running out in their allowed interrogation time, the officer would then flat out ask, if you know who did this crime, would you tell me?
By just telling me the truth, even if it's something that I don't want to hear, but I respect the truth rather than BS. Okay, and it's a simple question. If you knew who did this, okay, you may or may not know. If you knew who did this, would you tell me? It's either a yes or no question. Answer.
Honestly.
Yeah, honestly. The truth. You wouldn't?
because I wouldn't want to be a part of that. I wouldn't want to be.
Where YNW Bortlen does not give a firm yes or no answer using his voice. Instead, he shakes his head no. And this is because if it was YNW Melly who did this crime, he would obviously know that. So saying no to the officer to his question could have caused his voice to either come out at a different volume, which would just be a clear indicator that YNW Bortlen is lying and that he knows a lot more than what he is sharing. However, the police already had a hunch that it was all a lie. As indicated earlier in the interrogation, there was no signs of broken glass, casings, or even anything in the area that YNW Bortlen claimed it happened at. This would later be proven as a fact, as during the YNW Melly trial, it was shared the Jeep they were driving in did not match up to what a drive-by is supposed to look like. As Sergeant Williams would reveal after investigating the car, there is zero chance this could have been a drive-by.
Assignment, which is to determine if this is a drive-by. And my determination was that this is not a drive-by, and it's based upon this picture here, which is a very good picture to describe it. All of these rounds are done. One is done at a stationary position. At a stationary position when all but one of these rounds are going in. The one round that has some movement in it, which is round site L here, the actually moving in that to create the little bit of a that you see there.
Okay, a lot of information in that answer, so let's break it down a little bit. Number, you said 17 outside the car. How many rounds were inside the car?
3.
And can you exclude the for Mr. Williams and Mr. Thomas as coming from outside of the car?
Yes. From the driver's side back seat.
As to the shot that Christopher Thomas, where did that emanate from?
Driver's side back seat.
Okay. Is it possible for there to have been 2 inside that car?
No.
Why not?
There is no time.
As YNW Bortlen's interrogation resurfaced, many realized that his interview with the feds didn't align to a major reason to why YNW Melly was granted a mistrial, which goes on to make many believe that Melly's 6th grade best friend, Adrian Davis, completely lied during YNW Melly's trial, which is illegal, as Adrian Davis revealed that YNW Melly wasn't even at the crime scene.
Are you 100% sure that Melly got into the red Mitsubishi to go home?
Yes.
Are you 100% sure that this young man learned of his friends at the exact same time you learned of it?
Yes.
And that was at the house?
Yes.
Are you 100% sure that when people were getting on the phone, that this young man was looking for his phone to call people?
Yes.
Davis would then even double down his claims of YNW Melly not being there, sharing that Melly was picked up by YNW members that were driving in the red vehicle located at the studio. The members in this car needed somebody to let them into the YNW crib, as this raises a red flag of if they need Melly to be there to let them in, where was YNW Bortlen originally going then?
Okay, so the only 2 people you know who had a key to the house was this young man.
Yes.
And Cortland Henry.
Yes.
Did you see this young man unlock the door of the house?
Yes.
Who was the last person to get out of the red Mitsubishi to go inside the house?
Trayvon. He was in the cot still asleep.
Did you see where Melly went?
To his room.
And where was his bedroom?
When you first walked in the house, came miss is right down the left.
Okay. This is a 1 or 2 story house?
2.
As stated by Adrian Davis, there's only 2 sets of house keys, one owned by Melly, one owned by Bortlen. And at 4:30 in the morning, why wasn't YNW Bortlen driving home on this night and could have just met them at the crib and allowed them into the house? As Adrian Davis claims that he watched YNW Melly walk to the front door, open the door, and then walk straight to his bedroom to go to sleep. Then while sleeping for roughly an hour or two, members in the house would begin screaming, yelling for everyone to wake up as they were just learning what happened to Sack Chaser and Juvie.
Did there come a time in the early morning hours that you were woken up and heard some distressing news?
Yes.
What did you hear?
That second Julie was shot.
When you heard that, did you see Melly in the house?
Yes.
Did you see Melly how he was dressed in the house?
Yes.
What was he wearing?
Shorts and a t-shirt, I think.
As Adrian Davis says that he saw YNW Melly inside of the house. However, the families of Juvie and Sack Chaser put on their social medias that Adrian Davis is lying about the entire situation. However, if Adrian Davis is telling the truth and YNW Melly now has an alibi, what does this mean for YNW Bortlen?